All right. Video number 146. My name is Morty. I'm building the space elevator. Yeah, I guess a lot happened. There's a lot of good framing, a lot of good understanding. I think that came over this past weekend and over the past few days. Um, Number one is as much as I'm pushing WSPF forward, as much as we're really Omega is popping up, but as much as we really are driving this forward, I have to understand that there is the bigger project and not to let not really, because at the same time we need to build this and something I've realized, right? Just time itself will add value to myself and to the project and a lot of just the credibility that we need. And I think so many people are watching. I think we're out there. People are seeing us. It's just it's easy to talk. It's easy to say, hey, I have plans, I want to do things. It's much harder for them to know that you're actually going to follow through. And again, I think this is just in general, any young founder is going to have this issue, and that's something that the only answer to, as much as it sucks sometimes, is time, right? The only way to get through that is just to go through the time that it takes to get further, and for people to see that you're still doing it, right? Because that's important. I think that's yeah, a lot of thoughts, a lot of interesting ideas. Again, it's the journey is what it is, and right personally, like uh, I don't need a lot, and I think that's key is understanding that of I know I'm able to, and I do live on very little regularly, right? And again, a lot of that is the work, right? If I'm working for 13 hours a day, I'm not going and hanging out anywhere. I'm not going spending any money. So it's really my life ends up becoming, clothing and a place to live and food, and that's it. Right? And it really ends up becoming those basic necessities. Again, a little bit of fun. I'm not saying I can spend anything and do anything, but the point is, able to live on very little means that I'm happy like this, right? I'm very happy like this. I don't need that to change. Well, there's always events either way, but the point is that I know I can continue working on this, right? And that's the main thing, right? Is I know I can. The question is will I, right? And will this keep moving forward? And then that has to do with there's a lot of different aspects, right? There's obviously the financial side, the money side is super important to commit to working this much on anything. It needs to financially be producing to keep the project running, right? Forget again, it's not like I said, I do want to keep, deferring salaries or take minimal salaries just to stay alive. But the point is the project and the point is to keep this going. And scaling it up has some issues, right? Scaling for the competitions, and that's just because that's where my head is now, focusing on the competitions. I guess honestly, these videos will likely not make so much sense individually. It's probably more something that you would need to watch all the way through, but maybe one day, and that's kind of my hope is hopefully one day they have like AI tools that can just feed it all these videos and have it like edit a super version that that shows the entire story and then the whole thing. But I mean, we're getting there. We'll have tools that can sort of figure that stuff out soon. But either way, the project itself, it is the mission, right? That's what it is. It needs to keep happening. Scaling it up is going to cost more than maybe I thought we'd be able to. I thought we'd be able to raise more quicker, but we're getting to a point where we kind of need to start pivoting. And again, we're a startup. That's how startups work. You have ideas and you try to make them work, and they don't always work. But in the process, we've first of all learned a lot, seen a lot, understood a lot, built a team, which is incredible, built what we have now, right? The whole W spec, everything that exists around it, the space elevator itself, the network we're building around that is really great. There's a lot of great things, right? So you, everything is working. It's just maybe we have to take a different angle, where instead of going directly from the competitions, and the reason for that really is just because we want to have a major competition in 2026, and it is looking a little bit more like we won't have enough teams. So we could potentially host the competition, but if we don't have anyone joining, it doesn't exactly work as well. And that's okay. right? Like that's okay that we have to pivot from that to maybe more of a regional model is what we were saying. And that's what we were discussing. Again, still under discussion, so it's not a final answer, but instead of having one major competition, we may pivot to having and I think strategically this makes more sense, but instead of having smaller regional competitions that allow for more people to join because they're in a smaller region that people are actually able to travel between. And at the same time, it lets us grow teams and stuff regionally. So instead of having one major competition, we'd have three smaller competitions, which does cost more money, maybe in terms of actual hosting competitions, but maybe maybe not in many cases because of the scale of the competitions. Then if they scale down, it becomes more okay, we could probably figure out certain partnerships with many places. And at the same time, it lets us grow. It lets us really see how many teams we get, right? Taking the teams that we've now, maybe scaling those. This just keeps coming back to personally, right? I want to move. I like moving. And again, maybe the amount of time I work and maybe the amount of effort I put into the work I do makes things move a little bit quicker, but it's just one person. And as much as obviously I lead by example and try to get the team and just they're volunteers. They're for the most for the entire part, everyone's volunteers. Everyone is busy with other things. And even then, they may not have the same work ethic. But even if they have the same work ethic, it's they're busy with other things. And I think that's just understanding that and realizing that, okay, ambitious timelines are great and working really fast is great if I was able to support my team. And I do plan to. And again, that's kind of the stage we're in is trying to figure that part out. I'm looking for a money partner, just to be straight and open, right? I'm honestly trying to find now, not telling people this because that's not good, but in the people I talk to, I'm really trying to find someone who's interested in making money and also believes in the project and wants to do that, but yeah, who will care about making money off this project because that's how we bring money in, I think, in that sense. But also someone who needs to understand money or have money, but one of the two or both. But that's really what, yeah, I guess. I mean, understand, like, I love crunching numbers. I love working through numbers. Right? I do work as a financial, right? I do, bookkeeping and finance, account, whatever it's called. Like, right, I do not the accounting, but, the running of the managing the assets for a real estate company. But that's yeah, that's using numbers is good, and I love crunching numbers and understanding it. I think I don't care enough to, I don't know. That's the one thing that I'm trying to figure out. But at the same time, well, it's not the one, it's one of the things to try to figure out. But at the same time, yeah, actively actually, past we've definitely stepped that up now that other things are quieting down or moving around. It's trying to find that partner, that best possible partner. Yeah, a little bit of it will be luck, a little bit of running into the right person in the right place. But I'm gonna keep trying and making that happen as soon as possible. So I see that goes. But either way, on the Rickapachi, yeah, so that there's a pivot there that which is it's good. It's good to go through that and to talk about it and really to see kind of where it leads us. But there's so many lessons, so much understanding that is coming through this, and that's the value there. So again, it's just it's gotten to a point where, like I've said in some previous videos, right? It's very capital, not capital intensive. It's just it's hard to move further from this point without capital, without major money. And yeah, some of the partners we're in talks with. It's just the pace of business with that is slow. And that just means that we have to slow our time scale down a little bit in at least where the competitions go. Now, I don't think we're going to slow down anything throughout this. It's going to give us more time now to build the system, right? To build kits for the teams to get started, to build more partners and sponsors, to build more, and then around the space elevator itself, right? To build that concept up more. So it's not the time isn't going anywhere. It's just shifting the timeline on WSpec competition. Um, or shifting this kind of the rate of scaling, at least to what I originally had planned and wanted to do. And yeah, it's all doable. It's all going to happen and is happening. And I guess that's kind of the founder perspective, right? I mean, obviously I have to believe in it, but otherwise, it's the work on it regardless of anything else. And that itself will sell something, right? That itself, just the continuation and pushing and figuring it out, right? And constantly figuring out the issues and fixing them and then doing that again is what's going to get us somewhere. And it's what's going to prove that we can do this. But yeah, it's I don't know, these kind of videos, I guess this one I really think about so much and just kind of went into it. There's there's a there's a lot of different aspects to this. And as much as yeah, again, and I think that's just what these videos are supposed to be, right? It's this little personal aspect, the understanding of what's going through my mind while trying to do this, and how we figure out the issues. And I don't consider, I do think I am, not, yeah, there's a certain level of thought and a certain understanding that I think I have that I keep trying intentionally, and it's not natural, but this constant telling myself, okay, learn from this, take everything as lessons and grow from it and keep growing and just using that minute by minute, right? It drives me crazy a little bit in some ways, but also it makes us move really quick or makes us able to move really quickly. The thing is, again, and this just comes down to it, is the world isn't moving as quickly. And the pace of business is just hard to push faster when you don't have large amounts of resources. And that's in terms of people, manpower, it's in terms of brain power, right? People working mind-wise, in terms of capital, money to spend to do stuff, location, like things having things moving lets you grow. Trying to get things moving is where it gets a little tough. But again, going from talking to doing is always the hardest part. And although we are doing already a lot, I would say we obviously need to be doing even more, or just keep doing, and that's kind of the point. So yeah, I guess if it's not obvious, these past weeks have been a little bit just kind of all over the place, a little bit unsure, not so confident in some of the ideas, but they're proving themselves, and I think that's where a lot of the model or a lot of talking to people for advice it is proving the success and the fact that maybe we do have this figured out, but at the same time, there's questions. I was just watching someone from a space company on the news from Stoke, CEO, I forgot his name, just talking, but the way he talks is very much like this, I think, in that sense of just accepting reality, right? It's not. I'm an optimist. I'm going to believe that we are going to change the world and we're going to do incredible things. And I really feel that and believe that and will work every day for that to happen. But there's also the reality and understanding and accepting that we're not in control of everything. And again, I keep coming back to this. It says a lot, but it's just that's kind of the acceptance. And I think that's what these videos show and these past few days are really showing. This is the reality of doing this, is going to be the ups and downs. There's going to be these things. Of course, I could smile and make a 15-minute video. Of course, I mean, that's the unimportant part, right? This 15-minute video, but the real thing is getting up in the morning, right? Having all the meetings, smiling through that, talking, right? Pushing everything else forward. But again, that's the work and that's what I enjoy and that's the challenge. And if it's not challenging, it's not worth doing it. But yeah, I guess that's where we are. This is what we're up to. We're gonna keep doing stuff. Again, a lot of outreach now. It gets quiet over this week because it's the holidays. So some internal stuff. I'm getting some new people on board tomorrow. I had a bunch of meetings today with a lot of people. See where things go. Um, but yeah, it's really just building, and that's where we're at. So either way, hope you enjoyed. Hope this made some sense. I hope the story overall is interesting. I hope again that because that's where I think the value is in this specifically, at least at this point. But yeah, hope you enjoyed and good luck.